And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Week 13 is now upon us. Wow, this season is flying. I seem to say that every single week. Again, I apologize for the lag that you're about to endure um, in relation to my lips moving and the words coming out of my mouth. So, yeah, get ready for that. Stick some headphones in, tune me out. Not don't tune me out. Stick some headphones in and look up Google Chrome and do whatever the heck you want to do and just listen to me make my predictions. Um, and honestly, I'm gonna boast. You should listen to me because my record has been nothing short of outstanding this year. I have 122 wins, 54 losses. I am almost 70% accurate in my NFL predictions. And I've been on a roll. I've been on a roll. And I'm going to try to continue to remain on a roll. Uh, but I'm embracing for impact for that week where I fall flat, which seems to be bound to happen shortly. So I'm going to do the recaps while I'm picking games. So keep an eye out for that. We start with the Redskins and Cowboys. Recaps for both of those teams. Both of them played on Thanksgiving. So both have had 7 days off, which is kind of funny considering they're also both on Thursday night yet again. Now, people are going to look at this game and they're going to look at, okay, Washington. Look at what the Dallas Cowboys have done the last 3 weeks. 7 points, 9 points, 6 points. I'm telling you, this is the NFL. I think this is the game the Cowboys get it right. The Redskins have been a very solid team this year. They've had a very tough schedule, but this is a divisional rivalry. The Dallas Cowboys know this team. Dak Prescott has played them 3 times in his career, more than any other team he's played thus far outside of the Giants and the Eagles. So I honestly believe that the Dallas Cowboys are going to get the W tonight. 28-26, it'll be a close game. You can't keep this offense down forever. Tyron Smith is back. He's healthy. The O-line looks decent. The running game, Alfred Morris isn't terrible. I just think the Chargers are a product of a good football team right now that the Cowboys ran into. And Dallas losing 2 straight primetime home games, don't see it happening. Stay away from this game if you want to bet money on it, because I think the Cowboys are going to win. Next up, we have the Vikings at the Falcons. Minnesota's had extra time to prepare for this game, but they're running into the wrong team at the wrong time. This Atlanta Falcons offense is starting to click, and they're starting to figure. This offensive coordinator is starting to figure it out. He knows how to utilize the talents on this team. Finally, Julio Jones had an amazing game the other day. Minnesota, I know they have extra rest. I know they're a good team, but the 7-game winning streak's got to end at some point. And what they're gonna be fine. They're still gonna win the North. They're still in a very good position to get that second seed in the NFC. But you also got to think Atlanta wins this game. That creates a lot of separation for the Philadelphia Eagles as well. And if you are in fantasy football and you're in Super Bowl contention and you're in playoff contention, if you have Carson Wentz on your team, but your final game is in week 17 for some reason, I advise you trade Carson Palmer when the playoffs begin. Trade him around week 14 if you have a solid backup quarterback, because guess what? You're playing to win fantasy football, and guess what? You're not gonna if Carson Wentz is sitting on the bench in week 17 and your backup quarterback is Joe Flacco, okay? Because quite frankly, nobody wants that. That is a fantasy football team killer. So if for some reason your championship game is in week 17 and you have Carson Wentz on your team and the Vikings lose this game, you might want to consider trading him while he's hot right now. Trade him for a quarterback that you know is going to be playing in week 17. If Tom Brady or Ben Roethlisberger, whoever wins that Patriots-Steelers game, the losing quarterback of that team is going to be all over it. And guess what? If Ben Roethlisberger is available, Ben Roethlisberger's there, and they lose. Trade Carson Wentz for Ben Roethlisberger, but know that it's not a fair trade, and maybe upgrade another position on your roster, because that's how you should play fantasy football. Look ahead. Next, so I think the Atlanta Falcons. That being said, I believe Atlanta wins this game. 28-27. I mean, there are going to be a lot of close games this weekend. And this is part of the schedule where the top teams in the NFC, they're going to start to eat each other alive. We have Vikings Falcons, we have Falcons Saints, we have Falcons Panthers, we have Saints Panthers, we have Rams Eagles, we have Rams Seahawks, we have Eagles Seahawks. I mean, this is the part of the season where the NFC teams are going to start to cannibalize each other. They're going to eat each other alive, and we're going to see what 6 teams come out on top. Next up, we have the Patriots at the Bills. The New England Patriots. I don't care if Tom Brady's on the injury report. I don't care. Patriots, they're going to go to Buffalo, and they're going to win this game. The Bills had a very good week against a very underwhelming Kansas City team that cannot score on offense right now. And the Bills have a very good defense when they're not on the field for 80 billion plays. So look for the New England Patriots to come in here and get the W. I think the Bills will keep this one close, but I think you're looking at 31-23 type of score. Next up, we have the 49ers at the Bears. Picking the Bears. I know Jimmy Garoppolo is starting for the Niners, but Bears on a losing streak, they got a decent defense. Even though they got shredded last week by the Eagles, everyone's getting shredded by the Eagles, A. And B, this is Jimmy Garoppolo going up against a pretty good Bears defense. So you never know what can happen. This is also the game featuring the Mitchell Trubisky trade. Mitchell Trubisky is starting against the team the Bears traded with in order to pick him up. So I think Chicago is going to get the win here. We'll go 20-14 over the 49ers. I think the 49ers will have trouble scoring, although this is a very winnable game for the Niners. Don't sit there and say, okay, you're saying the Niners don't have a chance. No, I'm telling you, dog, they got a chance to win this game. They have a chance to get their second win of the season this year. Next up, we have the Buccaneers at the Packers. Jameis Winston will start, and do not have recency bias. Yes, I know Brett Hundley looked good against the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday night, and I know the Buccaneers defense has struggled against quarterbacks this year, but do not have recency bias. You can't. This is a week-to-week league. Brett Hundley had a good game, but he's still a subpar quarterback playing with uber talent around him. The talent that the Packers had in the game was phenomenal. This seems like the type of game the Packers would drop. I know it's the Buccaneers traveling to Lambeau Field in December, but I just have a gut feeling about this one. Jameis Winston, I believe, is going to lead his team to victory here. And we're going to go with 24-17 being the final score of this one. Next up, Texans at Titans. Oh my goodness. The Tennessee Titans are going to give me a headache this year. No, they already have given me a headache this year. Those of you who are new to this channel, the Tennessee Titans are my favorite football team. And I've had some people message me about the power rankings. Why is Tennessee at 9? Simple, okay? I do my power rankings based on 3 things. 30%. How healthy are you? 40%. Who beat who? That matters a lot to me. It may not matter to some other people who do power rankings, but who beat who means a lot to me. The other 30% is how have you looked recently. And I can tell you what. Let's go through those, okay? And why I have Tennessee at 9. Tennessee's one of the healthiest teams in the league. They got Rashard Matthews with a hamstring. That's it. That's the only injury this team has is Rashard Matthews, and he's probably going to play this week. They're healthy. We're not the Packers. We're not the Colts. We're not the Texans. We're not. Jeez, everyone's hurt this year. So, we're healthy. How have we looked recently? Yes, I know we got blown out against the Steelers. I know that. And I know we've won close games, but the fact of the matter is, after a 2-3 start, we've won 5 of our last 6 games. That's got to count for something. 40%, and this is the reason I see so many power rankings with the Ravens, the Seahawks, and the Jaguars ahead of us. Guess what? We are 3-0 against those 3 teams. We have beaten the Ravens, we've beaten the Jags, we've beaten the Seahawks. That matters a lot to me. That's why if you look at my power rankings, that's why I moved the Panthers down a notch even though they won, because I didn't want to move the Saints behind them, because guess what? The Saints blew the Panthers out this year. I mean, I know there are some cases where there are teams that are ranked behind teams they beat, but that's only because how have you looked lately? I mean, it's a process. I mean, where is it? Is this it? No, it's not. Where the heck is it? Never mind. It may not be too important. Oh, no, here it is. You see this? This is a lot of hard work, guys. I've put a lot of time and effort into these damn power rankings. Seriously. I look at every single angle. I'm very statistical, very analytical. I pay attention. Now back to the game. I know I've gone on some tangents. I don't know. It's a good season. It's a good season to be a Titans fan. Tennessee gets the win. Not going to be pretty again, though. Because that's our move. That's what we do. We are in games decided by 4 points or less since last season. 6-0. Better than any other team in the league. That's why when I was watching that Colts game, I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is fine. I'm used to it. Okay? This is different from the Titans team of old. The Titans teams of old would have blown these games. Easily. I would know they would blow it. It's different culture now. And they're going up against this defense now. Ever since that blowout against the Texans, when we were ranked near dead last in the league in total defense, guess what? We have inched up to where I think the Tennessee Titans ranking total defense is defense ranks. You ready for this? Tennessee has gone from like the 29th or 30th total defense in the league, and now they're number 11. They're the 11th best defense in the NFL right now. They have a better defense than teams like the Rams, the Saints, the Bengals, the Bears. This is a good defense now. They still have their struggles. There's not a superstar on that defense, maybe outside of Kevin Byard, because he's good. But our defense has been solid this year. And I think Tennessee will get the win, 23-16. Next, Broncos at Dolphins. Who cares? Give me Denver. I'm picking the Denver Broncos only because the Miami Dolphins, I feel like the Broncos can score on this Dolphins defense, A, and B, this Broncos defense is still loaded with talent even though Aqib Talib is out, and Jay Cutler is starting on the other end. So, I don't care that this is a home game for the Dolphins. Denver's defense, I think, is going to put a whooping on them, and one of these losing streaks is going to end, and I think it's going to be Denver's. Broncos get the win here. We'll go 21-16 over the Dolphins. Next up, Chiefs at the Jets. This is a very important game in the scope of the NFL. Huge. Kansas City needs to win this game because guess who's right behind them? The Raiders and the Chargers. And Kansas City's team, this is what a contrast this game represents. This game could sum up the entire 2017 NFL season in one 60-minute game. You know why? Look at after week 1 where these two teams were. Kansas City just finished beating the shit out of New England Patriots. People are starting to crown them already as the best team in the league. And the Jets lost, and we all thought they were the worst team in the league. After week 1, Jets were 32 in the power rankings. Kansas City was, hell, they may not have been number 1, but hell, they were up there. They were like maybe number 1 or 2. And now look at these teams. 11 weeks later. That's why I love the NFL. A lot of people picking the Jets. I got to pick with Kansas City, though, because I trust Alex Smith more than I trust Josh McCown. I trust their playmakers. Kansas City hasn't been playing any slouches outside of the Giants, which they still should have won that game. I don't know what the hell they were doing. Kansas City wins 27-20. Next game, Colts at Jaguars. I did say it last week. I did say it. I'm not a believer in the Jaguars. I dug a little bit. Jags are 7-4, yes. Let's look at their 7 wins, shall we? Let's take a step back for a second. First game, and let's what we're looking for in their games is whether or not Blake Bortles had to play football in the fourth quarter. Okay. Let's see if Blake Bortles had to do something to help his team win in the fourth quarter. Week 1, they beat the Jaguars 29-7. That game was already wrapped up by the fourth quarter. So there's that. Let's look at their next win, the Ravens. That game was already wrapped up in the third quarter. 44-7. Blake Bortles didn't have to play football in that game in the fourth quarter. Next, the Jaguars-Steelers game. Blake Bortles didn't need to do anything in the fourth quarter in that game because the defense did it all. Next up, the Colts, the 27-0 game. Blake Bortles didn't need to do anything in that fourth quarter. Bengals-Jaguars. He didn't need to do anything. A.J. Green did it to himself. The Bengals were in decent position in that game, and guess what? A.J. Green suspended for the rest of the game, and the Jaguars had a lead. Blake Bortles didn't have to do anything. Next up, the Chargers. Blake Bortles did have to do something, but he threw like 2 interceptions, and the only reason they won that game is because the Chargers handed it to him on a silver platter. Their running back fumbles, and then Phillip Rivers throws an interception in overtime. Again, that's a credit to the Jags defense. That's 6 wins. Their 7th win, the Browns. Defense did it. Blake Bortles had to play in the fourth quarter, but the defense bailed him out completely. So, I mean, that's 6-0 when Blake Bortles doesn't play in the fourth quarter. 6-0. When Blake Bortles has to play football in the fourth quarter, they're 1-4. The Titans, they were behind. They had to rely on Blake Bortles. The Rams, they were behind. They had to rely on Blake Bortles. The Cardinals, that was tight. They had to rely on Blake Bortles. And the Jets, they lost in overtime. They had to rely on Blake Bortles. That is how you beat this team. Now that being said, they're going to beat the Colts. They'll have no problem beating the Colts, I think. I think this is going to be 30-10 type of game. Sorry, Colts fans. Next up, we have the Lions at the Ravens. Give me the Ravens. Both of these teams are 6-5. Both of these teams, the Ravens control their destiny here. They're 6-5. They've won a couple straight games. They have an easy schedule coming up. This is one of their harder games left. If they get through this game, the path becomes very clear for that 6th seed. And I think they do. We'll go 24-16. Browns at Chargers. Give me a break. Chargers are on a roll right now, and I think the Chargers get the win here 33-7 over the Browns. Cleveland, I'm trying to find a win for them to not go 16-0, but it's hard. It might be harder this year than it was last year, which is ironic because this is the only team the Browns beat last year was the Chargers. Giants at Raiders. Oh, Giants. Giants threw in the towel when they benched Eli. I'm sorry, Giants fans. That's crude. Raiders, I think, are going to blow y'all up. So, 35-14, the Raiders are going to beat you. I know I'm kind of going through picks now. I know I've gone on some tangents. My video's like getting pretty long, I believe, right? Yeah, about 19 minutes. Oh, I'm on pace. Panthers at Saints. Saints. I think the Saints sweep the Panthers. I like the Saints better overall. The Panthers kind of remind me of the Titans a little bit. Why? Because they have a couple signature wins. You know, Tennessee, we beat the Jags, we beat the Seahawks, we beat the Ravens. The Panthers on the other end, you beat who'd you beat? The Panthers, they beat the I believe they beat the Lions. I think they beat the Falcons, and the Panthers beat the Patriots, which was impressive. I gotta give you that. But look at their other wins. They barely beat the Jets. They only won because the Jets imploded. I mean, in some of their wins, they beat the Bills 9-3. Their wins have almost been as ugly as Tennessee's. They're 8-3, and this offense is starting to roll. But they're running into a Saints team right now that I think is going to get the W here. 35-28 in what should be one of the best games of the week. I'm looking forward to it. Next up, we got the Rams at the Cardinals. This is not going to be a shutout again. Why? Because Blaine Gabbert has been playing good football for the Arizona Cardinals. And that being said, I'm still picking the Rams. Rams, that game last week against the Saints, that's what I needed to see from you guys. Because now I'm taking you seriously. You have my full attention now, Los Angeles Rams. That was impressive. That was impressive. And now I'm a believer. That's how you do it. That's how you build believers out of fans. Like beating a team like that and under those circumstances, that game was wrapped up by the fourth quarter. The way your defense was playing, impressive. That's why I respected y'all in the power rankings. I think I have you at like 5. Now you'll beat the Cardinals. It'll be closer. We're gonna go 24-13. Eagles at Seahawks. The Eagles are on a roll right now. I can't go against a team that's won their last 4 games by at least 23 points. So I gotta go with the Eagles. I know the Seahawks secondary is banged up. That hurts them. Eagles get this win here, 34-20. It'll be a little closer than what the Eagles are used to. But the Eagles are they're rolling on all fours. And they're the best team in the league right now. But hold that with a grain of salt, Eagles fans. When was the last time that a team with the best record 12 weeks in won the Super Bowl? I can't remember a time. You never know. Last game, Steelers at Bengals. This is a trap game for Pittsburgh. That being said, man, I almost want to now. No, I can't. I gotta keep with the Steelers. They're rolling right now. I know they struggled against the Packers, but I think the Packers played up to their competition more than the Steelers played down to them. So I think the Steelers are gonna get the W here, 28-21 over the Bengals. This would probably ultimately end the Bengals season, even though they'd still be in wildcard contention. But hey, you never know. Anyway, those are my picks. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time.